Hello there, this is Mike Hoffman with a short tutorial video taking a tour of our MacBook Pro and going over some tips on how to customize our MacBook system preferences in order to make using it a little bit easier and a little bit faster. Now, our fun fact of this video is the original Mac operating system, OS X or OS X, was called Cheetah. Now the question for you is, what is the current Mac OS called? And my source there is from computerworld.com. Alright, so taking a look first at our Mac is our Spotlight search. In the top right hand corner of our screen we have a magnifying glass, which is a symbol for searching. If I open that, it's going to open up my Spotlight search, which is going to allow me to search for applications and files on my MacBook, as well as search the internet. Now the first thing I want to open up is System Preferences. Now notice it has an autofill going on there for me. It's going to take a guess on what I want to say and finish typing it for me. And again, you can hear your top hits, your applications, as well as some of the search results from the web. Now I'm going to hit Return and open up my System Preferences. Now while I'm here, the first thing I want to take a look at is my dock settings. The dock is the bar down at the bottom of my screen that has access to my applications as well as my downloads and some of the files and so forth. Now you can customize your dock, right? You can change the size of it, make it big, make it small, as well as use magnification. Right? Mine's clicked off, but it'll allow you, when you hover your mouse over, to make it a little bit bigger so you can sort of see what you want to click on before you want to click on it. Next thing is you can also change the position, left, bottom, and right. And one other thing that I have clicked off, but you can certainly put on yours if you like, which is to automatically hide and show the dock. When I click that, you see the dock disappears, but when I hover my mouse over the bottom, it pops right back up. Now to go back to my system preferences, I can either hit the back arrow or click onto the show all. And from here, we're going to take a look at our mission control. Now, mission control is a pretty cool feature. And before we get into the settings, I just want to show you what it is. It gives you a multiple desktop feature where you can have multiple applications open up at once without crowding your screen. So what I have going on here, my main desktop is my system preferences. But I have my desktop 2, right, where I'm working on a Spotlight or Keynote presentation, right? Also on desktop 3, I've got some research I'm doing, right? And then on my desktop 4, right, I've got my image captured, ready for me to capture some images. Now, I can also, right, move by swiping just left to right with my 3 fingers and go between my different desktops. So again, desktop 1, 2, 3, and 4. The feature is great for getting when you're working on multiple things and you don't want to have to minimize every single time, or you don't want to crowd your screen. Now, mission control does have some different options that you can do, so you can play around with it to figure out what best suits you. Now, the other place that you're going to be able to customize access to your mission control, and that's our next stop on our tour, which is the Trackpad. Right. The Trackpad, the first thing we want to take a look at is our point and click. So, for example, you might have to secondary click on certain items, right? And that's that option when you want to cut or paste, or if you're using a Windows program or computer, that would be that right click. And here I have set up to when I tap with 2 fingers. So, for example, if I want to close down Safari, I can secondary click or tap it with 2 fingers and quit. Right? It just makes life a little bit easier. Now I can also change the speed, tracking speed, as well as how hard it is, put sign clicking, mess around with some other features. Scroll and zoom, again I can mess around to customize it for myself. And now there's more gestures going back to my mission control. Right, so to access to mission control, I have it swipe up with 3 fingers, and that's how I get from one to the other. And then here is that other option, swipe between full screen apps, right? How to get from my different desktops that I set up in mission control was just swipe left or right with 3 fingers. And again, you can customize it with 4 fingers if you so choose. All right, now one stop back to our system preferences. We have our desktop screensaver if you want to change your background picture. Just remember to make sure that it is appropriate for school. And so you're picking pictures, like I like to say that my grandmother would be happy to see if she were to open up my laptop. Now, going back to our dock, right? We want to customize our dock to make sure that we are using and having access to the different applications that we use most often. Now, how am I going to add or remove applications? Really simple. All right, if I want to add an application, for example, you are going to have to add Chrome to your dock because it's going to be our web browser of choice. You simply click on your applications and drag Google Chrome right over, and there it is. Now I'm going to put it next to Safari over towards the left-hand side, but you can also move where you put it. Now you can also remove some of the desktop applications. For example, let's say you don't use the App Store much. Right? Just click and drag it off. Boom, it is gone. It's off your dock. Now it's not gone, right? I can just go back there and go to the App Store, and I can simply drag it back on to my dock if I so choose. Right, but again, you want to set it up so you are having the applications that you use most on your dock. Now, last thing that you're going to need to know on your MacBook is the Apple menu. That's the little Apple symbol up in the top left-hand corner. You can access your system preferences, recent items, right, different things that you had open recently, applications or documents. Put your computer to sleep, restart or shut down, and finally to force quit. Now, force quit allows you to close an application that is not responding. Right? So we know sometimes when our computers get overwhelmed, they kind of freeze up. Now, is not the case with my MacBook right now, but let's say I wanted to close down Keynote, simply hit force quit. Now, I'm going to lose any unsaved changes, which is not a problem for me at the moment. I'll hit force quit, and you notice it is now closed. Now, if you find yourself trying to force quit an application and it doesn't work, meaning it's just frozen your computer right up, you can also just shut down your computer. That's also a way to sort of fix it. Now, I do recommend that you close your computer, shut down your computer every night. It'll keep things running a little bit smoother. All right, that is it. That is your quick tour and tutorial of your MacBook Pro. Good luck and have fun.